What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you an NFL trade prediction video on Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. I believe he'll be traded to my Atlanta Falcons this offseason. Let's get into why, guys. So, this was a tough video to make. I was torn between a couple teams, to be honest. One being my Falcons, the other being the Colts, and the other being the Denver Broncos. Now, I chose the Falcons for two reasons. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes, but the Colts were really the team that was on my mind, but I went with my heart going with my Falcons for unbiased reasons. But the Colts, who I did a video on not too long ago on them getting Joey Bosa before the Chargers end up keeping him and restructuring his contract, he was a veteran pass rusher that I had pinned going to the Colts, but obviously he stayed. And I think Hendrickson with the Colts will be another great fit as well. The Colts had a great run last year as far as defense goes. I think the most sacks in team history, but they still need more. They have guys like Kwity Paye, who's good. They have Samson Ebukam, who's good. But I think Trey Hendrickson or Bosa would have upgraded that spot a little bit more. But as I said, I think the Falcons have the edge on them for a couple reasons. But before we get into that, let's talk about Trey Hendrickson and why he wants out of Cincinnati. So reportedly it says his agent spoke to an analyst. I forgot which one it was, so forgive me for that. But basically he said he wants a long-term deal or he could be considering retirement. That literally makes no sense. You know, if you're making $15 million a year already, you want a pay raise and then a contract extension. Why would you end up making less money, making no money, and retiring instead of just playing for the $15 million? So that doesn't make sense. That's backwards. So that the agent's kind of talking crazy, but I think he ends up staying. Honestly, it could be a trade deadline move maybe throughout the season, but I don't know if he actually is dealt. No, the Bengals are kind of stubborn. Me personally, I was calling for them to trade T. Higgins a couple years ago. For seeing this what happened. You know, they need to pay Higgins, they pay Burrow, they got to pay Chase, and still got to keep the team pretty good and competitive around the star Joe Burrow. It's just tough to do while paying two top receivers, edge rushers, everybody. So everybody top dollar. So I saw this coming from a mile away. I didn't see Trey Hendrickson coming, but I definitely saw T. Higgins and some other issues coming up. That could be on the rise for the Bengals. So we'll see what they end up doing. T. Higgins maybe move tomorrow at the at the draft. Hendrickson maybe. It's kind of fast though, so maybe a little bit after the draft. But let's get on to why the Falcons. And you know, if you follow my videos at all, especially my prediction videos, I love doing pass connections. I used that in a couple moves this offseason when I did Darnell Mooney to the Falcons. Another unbiased move. I forgot his exact role, but Pace, Ryan Pace, who was a former GM or something like that for the Chicago Bears, he drafted Darnell Mooney. He's now with the Falcons as an advisor, if I'm not mistaken. And I put a video out months before it happened that we would sign Darnell Mooney. I'm feeling the same way about Trey Hendrickson. He wasn't drafted by Pace, but he was drafted by our current GM, Terry Fontenot. For the Saints a couple years back. Hendrickson been around for a while now. Started off with the Saints and then ended up with the Bengals not too long ago as a top pass rusher. So I think that connection bodes well for us, as well as the other thing being we have multiple draft picks. We have draft assets to definitely trade. We have 1 first, 1 second, and then 2 third-round picks. The other third, pick 79, come from the Jaguars and us getting Calvin Ridley. So I think we can pair either both of those thirds and get Trey Hendrickson, or we could pair maybe a second and a third, or a second and a fourth, because we do have to pay him long term. You know, he is making $15 million right now, about $15 million, like 14 and change. He wants more money. He wants more years, which is understandable. But no, if we got to pay him extra money, we probably have to lower the price tag on him a little bit. So I wouldn't mind a third and a fourth, or maybe even both thirds, but a second to me is a little bit high. And I've been clamoring for a pass rusher all off season, you know, and if we do get Hendrickson, I think it would make sense because we could also turn that the first round pick, pick 8. We could turn pick 8 into a star cornerback. You know, I was real high on Kool-Aid McKinstry. I did a video on him not too long ago. I think the Falcons also want to trade down. So we can trade down and get Kool-Aid later on throughout the draft, or we can stay put, get Quinyon Mitchell, or get Nate Wiggins or someone else, Terrion Arnold, at that pick 8 spot, and then we might get another young pass rusher or whatever else we need in that second round. So I think that bodes well for us. That's a smart move by us if that does happen. So, but if we're gonna do it, we gotta do it soon because, as I said, the draft is tomorrow. Today is Wednesday, April 24th. Draft is tomorrow. So if we're gonna get Henderson, we gotta move ASAP. But the Bengals say they're not moving them. So that's the tough part about it because if we go cornerback and we fail to get Hendrickson, let's say the Bengals don't get him or another team adds him before we can get our hands on him, then we're in trouble. We have no pass rusher. So this move has to kind of be made ASAP, either tonight as the video drops or tomorrow throughout the draft. We have to get that done before the first round happens, which is kind of hard to do in less than 24 hours or right around 24 hours. So it's tough. Definitely is. But if it's doable, it can definitely happen. I've been saying since last year. I've been screaming out every video I do about my Falcons. We need a pass rusher badly, and I was thinking we was in the hunt for Hassan Reddick for the Eagles. He ended up going somewhere else. I wanted Daniil Hunter. I wanted a bunch of guys that we ended up striking out on. So I think this is the one that we could definitely is more realistic. It is possible, and we bring him in. Because the Falcons had one of the worst pass rushes last year. Sack numbers were terrible. Pass rush numbers was terrible. We need to boost that up by 1,000,000,000 times. And adding Trey Hendrickson will definitely do that for us. And it frees up other options throughout the draft as well. Trade up, trade down, getting more assets. Like, for example, we get Hendrickson now, trade for him. We can trade pick 8 with the Vikings. Let's say they move up from pick 11 to pick 8. We get 11 and also maybe get pick 23 as well. That would bode well for us. So we can still get Laiatu Latu to pair with Henderson. We can still get a cornerback. We can still get other pieces as well, even a quarterback. I'm not opposed to that either. Someone to sit behind Kirk Cousins for a couple years at pick 11 or pick 23. So getting Henderson will definitely free us up in options and availability, and also to be a little funky throughout the draft and things of that nature. So we'll see how everything turns out, guys. But that's it for the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.